Welcome to Life Point TV. I'm Pastor Dale Phillips, and I'm glad that you joined us here for another Life Point broadcast, Your Path to Real Life. Uh, in this teaching series, we are dealing with our transition. That's the word that's in my spirit. I believe that God is moving us. I know this is what He's doing in my life personally, in the life of the ministry where I pastor at the House Worship Center. We are in transition. Transition from a season of restraint to release, from restraint to release. I believe in Exodus chapter 12, this background story of the children of Israel who have suffered in captivity for 430 years, being prevented from walking in the fullness of their divine purpose. That purpose to go outside of the perimeters, the limitations of Egypt, to be able to worship their God and their God only, as opposed to finding themselves committed to the construct of building temples under Pharaoh, being under the pharaonic oppression and authority. We find ourselves in real life today wrestling with having to respond to the authority of the secular Pharaoh as opposed to being able to walk in the divine call and purpose of God. And I believe that this is a season that is set upon us, a season of transition. And I'm hoping that you can sense this in your spirit that God has called us, God is calling us out of that captivity, out of that place of restraint to release. I want you to get your Bible, open up to Exodus chapter 12, find verse 31. Just going to reread that quickly. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night. This is Pharaoh calling Moses and Aaron. I'm here to tell you, just a reminder, when it's time for you to move forward, God will cause even the enemy, even those who are your oppressors, to call you forth to send you out. You will go forth from your place of captivity to become productive, to walk in your divine plan, your divine purpose, your divine calling that God has placed upon your life. Pharaoh calls Moses and Aaron by night, telling them to rise up and to get forth, to leave from among their people, the people of Egypt, both them, the children of Israel, and to go out and to serve their God as they have said they are called to do. Now, I want you to be reminded also in verse 32, it says, also take your flocks and your herds, as you have said, be gone and bless me also. They are going to depart, but they're not going to leave empty handed. They're going to go forth, move out of captivity, transition from a season of restraint to release, and they're going to take something with them. Remember, I told you that before. Now I want you to get to verse 34. This is the next teaching point that I want to underscore. Verse 34 says, and the people took their dough before it was leavened. Watch this. Took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. I want you to get this illustration in your spirit. When it's time to go, God will set the stage for us to move forward in great haste. That means without any hindrance. One moment you can have been held back and restrained, in this case for 430 years. For you and I, it might be 40 years, it might be 40 days, it might have been 43 weeks that you have felt restrained, held back, can't move forward, and then suddenly, with haste, God's going to say it's time to go. And we have to be prepared to move forward immediately. Watch this. No questions, no recalculation, no looking over the shoulder and saying, yeah, but I'm in captivity. Oh, woe is me. I can't just get up and move forward suddenly. Yes, you can. Watch this. This is how quick transition, get that word in your spirit. This is how quick transition comes. Overnight, the word comes to Moses and to Aaron by their oppressor. and immediately they're to make haste and to go forth, to the extent they were preparing bread for the next day. You know, bread was always something that you had to prepare in advance. It's not like, present day, run out a loaf of bread, just run down to 7-Eleven and get me another loaf. No, if you're going to have bread for the next day or for the next several days or for that week, you had to bake it, prepare it the night before, days before, preparing in advance for the oncoming day. That's what the children of Israel had done. These Hebrews, they had already prepared their bread, getting ready to spend another day in captivity. But before they could add the leaven to the dough, which would be the the step for preparing it to rise before you put it into the oven to bake it, God called them into transition. This is the word I want you to take away with you right now. When it's time to move forward, God will cause our captivity to be transition so immediate that we won't have time to bake another loaf of bread in the condition that we have been wrestling with for many days, many weeks, many months, many years. But immediately, so don't even add the leaven. We don't have time to stay here in this condition a moment longer. Take the dough as it is, no leaven. Don't let it rise, because you're not going to stay here. This is a word to somebody right now. You're not going to stay here in this moment, not one moment longer. Take the dough unleavened and get the kneading troughs, those kneading troughs where you would knead out the bread to get it ready to put it in the oven. Just gather that up, roll it up in your garments, take the bread without the leaven, and we're making haste. We're leaving right now. I want to encourage somebody right now. God is speaking to you. This is your time, your season of transition. Make ready to leave right now. Don't spend another moment preparing to stay in captivity. God says it's time for you to move forward. Man, this is a powerful word. I just feel God putting in my spirit. That's all we have time for today. You stay tuned. We'll come right back to this passage in our next teaching. This is Pastor Dale Phillips encouraging you to stay on the path that leads to real life.